So, first practice test, a little easier than the regular one. The types of questions are the same. What is the main idea? What would be the best revision of this one? That's the same kind of questions you'll have, word for word, what you're going to see on the multiple choice one. It's just that the passages you get will be a little harder. Okay. Many students struggle with time management. They procrastinate on assignments. Time management is an important skill. Students can improve their habits by planning ahead. Which of those sentences would be the best introduction? Agreed. Sentence 3, correct. Time management is an important skill. Now, why is that? You're going to get annoyed with me asking why on each one, but why is that the best introduction?
Because of the other sentences, it makes more sense to start off with time management is an important skill. Because you can put, because many students struggle with time management, or students can improve their habits by planning ahead.
Because they all explain, they're all examples of why.
Yes, they're all explaining why it's an important skill. I really like, Debbie, how you just said, because you can put the word because, and then because many students struggle, because students can improve. I really like that thought. I'm going to see if that works on a whole lot of different topics now, to see if you can kind of plug that in there. All right. Which sentence should be removed to improve unity? Why?
Well,
Because it's really not saying anything, really,
it's not really saying why time management is important. I mean, they need it, and 90% probably, or say 80% of the students, they already just put it off until the last minute. I mean, everybody knows that, so it's not really helping the cause any.
Okay.
To me, I think it's like hurting it, so I don't think it should be.
So it's not like both of y'all said, it's not showing that it's an important skill.
Right.
If we've established that time management is an important skill, that's what we're trying to explain, saying they procrastinate is not explaining that.
Right.
The other sentences do explain that. The way that it's set up here is kind of giving you the thing that they're going to do, which is it's going to make you question yourself. Like, well, yeah, they procrastinate, and that's why they need to learn time management skills. So that is the problem, but you have to ask yourself, is it actually explaining that topic sentence? Which is what you guys did. So good. All right. Which transition would best begin sentence 4?
I think, however, I put for example.
All right. Everybody make your argument then. So, Debbie, time management is an important skill. Therefore, students can improve their habits by planning ahead. Why is that the right one?
It just sounds right to me. I don't know. I mean, it kind of makes the sentence flow, I guess. I don't know how to explain
How
it.
do you expect us to say why? Because I don't, okay?
Because if you understand why, then you'll be able to answer other questions asking similar things.
So, with putting the time management is an important skill, that would be my first. Then I would put many students struggle with time management. Therefore, students can improve their habits by planning ahead. It just, to me, the way I just started to put the sentences, left them number 2 out, it just sounds right to me.
Okay, you did several things right in that. Go ahead and cut out the one to cut out, and then rearrange them in the way that makes sense. One of the main things that I do want to make sure I point out on here, keep in mind the questions that it has already asked you about any passage. Because if in previous one you identified that this was the topic sentence, then when you think about it from then on, you need to think about that being the topic sentence. And if that means you got to rearrange, then rearrange in your head. And if you decided to cut one out in a question before that, then cut it out in your head when you go on to the next question. So what I want you guys to pay attention to with the transition words, and this one in particular, is what does that mean? So I can't scroll down because then the answer's already marked, but however means two things disagree. So if you start a sentence with however, you're saying it disagrees with the sentence right before it. If you say therefore, you are saying because of this other stuff, this is now accurate. If you are saying, what's the other one, for example? If you're saying for example, then you're giving a minor detail of something, which means it needs to be giving a specific example of the sentence before it. What's the other option on there? Meanwhile is time. So meanwhile is showing that two things are happening at the same time. So like I was drinking my protein shake. Meanwhile, the students were going over answers. So it's going to be therefore.
I had it right.
You had it right. Because the other things will lead to this one. If they struggle with it and they understand that it's important, then it's going to lead to them improving their habits by planning ahead. All right. Passage 2. My school recently started a recycling program. The bins are blue. Recycling reduces waste in landfills. It also conserves natural resources. On the test, you might have these listed and they won't be in paragraph form sometimes. It'll just have a list of sentences, so just keep that in mind. Which sentence is irrelevant? 2. Okay. Why? Yes, who cares is the informal answer because yeah, it doesn't matter. But why in the formal way does that not matter?
Because it doesn't explain anything to do with recycling and what it does.
You're right. You're right. Yes, that it's not explaining what recycling does. That all the other sentences are supporting saying why it's a good thing, what it does. And this is just a random fact that has nothing to do with what recycling actually does. The reason they have it in there is because it is related to the school having started a recycling program and the bins at the school are blue. So it is still related to the topic sentence, but it's not making the same explanation as the rest of them. If you come across that in the test and you see one that, you're like, well, I mean, it's talking about the same subject. Look at all the other major and minor details and see, is there one that is not the same as the other ones? So yes, sentence 2 is the irrelevant one. So which one would best replace sentence 2? A. The bins are placed throughout the building to encourage participation because it's keeping that same idea of talking about how they're at the school. You started by saying they're at the school, so that keeps that thought going, but then also transitions to why it's important, which is so people can participate in it, and then it's going to be because recycling reduces waste, it also conserves natural resources. What is the main idea of this paragraph? Recycling programs help the environment. What I want to point out with this one. So when you guys write your essay, what I have taught you since English 1 is to make the thesis statement of an essay be the last sentence of your first paragraph, and to make topic sentences in body paragraphs be the first sentence. That is considered standard. It's easiest to understand. It's good to go. When we're looking at a paragraph, typically when it says what is the main idea, you want to find the topic sentence. It is not a hard rule that the thesis has to go as the last sentence in the first paragraph. It just has to be somewhere in there. The topic sentence just has to be somewhere in there. And sometimes there's not a direct topic sentence. And so this is the case. Recycling programs help the environment is not in that paragraph. This, looks more like the topic sentence because it's the first one. So then you have the okay, the schools have bins is the closest to the first sentence that they say in their paragraph. Don't get caught up for that. When you see stuff asking about topic sentences and main ideas, it might not be the first sentence, or it might not even be one that's in there. It's just you have to put the logic together that if everything's talking about it helping the environment, then it's about helping the environment. Okay. Passage 3. The soccer team practiced every day. They wanted to improve. The coach taught new drills. They won the championship. Which best combines sentences 1 and 2? B. This, while it is, it's a revision question, what this comes down to is being a grammar question. Because this one, the reason that it's not right is it's comma splice. The soccer team practiced every day because they wanted to improve is correct. But if it said so they could improve, that would have been correct. There are other ways that this one could have been correct. The only problem with this one is that it is a comma splice. This one is a sentence fragment. This one just doesn't even make sense. So this one is correct because it uses the grammar correctly in there. Which sentence is the strongest conclusion?
I put over.
Carla, what about you? This one is sentence 4. Now, why is it sentence 4?
Why? Because the soccer team, they practice every day. They wanted to improve, and their coach taught them new drills to help with that. So therefore, they won the championship because of all their hard work.
And help them win.
Well, that summed it up, Debbie.
That's it. And for people watching the video later, if you can't hear Debbie, she said, because the soccer team practiced, because they wanted to improve, because the coach taught new drills, it's a therefore situation. When all of those things combine, it leads to a championship. It's also got a little bit of time order in there as well, because first practice is going to start because you want to improve. While you're in practice, the coach is going to teach you new drills, and afterwards, then you're going to win the championship. All right. Which word best replaces wanted in sentence 2? Desired, and the last class, a lot of them picked liked as well. The reason that it's desired, because they like to improve. Obviously, they like to improve. They like to win, and to improve, to win, you have to be able to improve. Also, why they practiced every day, because they liked to improve. The reason that it is desired and not liked is because you have to keep in mind the other sentences again, because they have a goal that they are going for. The goal is to win the championship. So then it becomes, if you're saying they wanted to win the championship, you wouldn't say they liked to win the championship. It would be they desired to win the championship.
That
Yeah.
was another one of my second guesses.
Was desired? Oh, you second guessed yourself? Carla, when are you going to learn?
I don't know.
Never second guess yourself. Go with your gut. Okay, passage 4. Some people believe homework is unnecessary. Homework helps students review material. It also builds responsibility. Homework exists in many schools. In my opinion, this was the hardest one because that is a terribly written paragraph. But they're going to give you ones that are terribly written, and they're not asking you to make it better for the most part. You just have to work with garbage. So, which sentence best states the author's claim? Which is which one without scrolling? So yeah, you guys got it great. I struggled with that one because none of those are really supported. Like saying it helps students review material, but it also builds responsibility. Like to me, those two sentences are equal. They're just both listing two different things that homework does. But the logic is because the material because the reviewing then leads to building that responsibility, that's what makes it the claim. But I personally meh on that. Aw, thanks. Except if I am the teacher who also does not get it, I don't know what that says. Which sentence should be deleted? Why? Yes, but why?
Because, I mean, it's common knowledge that 98% of schools give homework, if not more.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never
Oh, at
seen
some
a
point,
student
100%.
come home that never has homework.
Yeah.
At some point,
Yeah.
100% of schools give homework.
Yeah.
Some reason my kids do.
Come home without homework.
Because they choose not to have homework.
So saying the homework exists in many schools, it's not building anything on this argument. Like this is clearly an argument that they're trying to go for, and just saying it exists doesn't do anything to help that argument. It's just saying the obvious. All right. Oh, whoops, I went too far. Which sentence would best follow sentence 3? Should be B, studies show homework improves test scores. Because what that's doing, if you say it also builds responsibility, so it helps to review, builds responsibility, you now want to give me another reason because that's what you've done so far. All right. How are we at? 3:06. Let's pause there and take our break, and then we'll come back and finish the rest of it.
Move it up.
Yeah, we'll just pick up the pace. Okay. Dogs make excellent pets. They are loyal companions. Dogs have fur. They can also protect their owners.
3.
C. Dogs having fur is not explaining why they're a good pet. It's not showing good characteristics of dogs. It's just stating a fact. Which transition should begin sentence 4?
I put B.
In addition, because you are just continuing to add points. Like one reason is they're loyal. To add to that, they're protective. Which revision improves sentence 1?
C.
C. Dogs make loyal and protective companions. This goes to what I've told you guys about topic sentences and thesis statements. Go ahead and let your reader know what your points are going to be. So that's just adding that. They're excellent because you're going to tell me they're loyal and you're going to tell me they're protective. Then we've got exercise improves health. It strengthens muscles. People like watching TV. It increases energy levels. What should be removed? C. People like watching TV. Yes, that is what then often makes people get lazy and they don't want to work out and then they have to exercise. But we're not talking about that. We're just talking about how it helps health. So what would be the best order?
1, 2, 4.
C. 1, 2, 4. With this goes back to what I was talking about before, where I said you have to take into consideration what the other questions have asked. Because if you go into this question thinking, well, I got to put all of them in there because they had all of them in there. No, you got to remember you just cut that sentence. So now you got to tell me, now that it's cut, what the best order would be. Which sentence best supports sentence 1? B. Because it's telling another health thing that it helps. Passage 7. The museum opened a new exhibit. Many visitors attended. It was boring. The exhibit featured rare artifacts. Which one disrupts tone?
3.
C. It was boring. Because the tone here is like almost like an advertisement. Like it's a news report of like, here's this great thing. And then it was boring. Like the emotion completely changes on that one from like, hey, here's this cool thing I need to tell you to, yeah, whatever, it's boring. Which revision improves sentence 2? B. Many visitors attended the opening day. Now, this is the way, if you look at it that way, that's how it's going to be on the actual one. That instead of saying many visitors attended, it would say many visitors attended the opening day. Instead of the museum opened a new exhibit, on the real one, it would say something like, many visitors attended opening night of the new exhibition at the local museum. So it's going to be saying the same kind of stuff and asking the same questions, but just a heads up that they will be a little bit harder. Like, apparently I didn't give people enough of a heads up on the reading SOL because I gave like 1 paragraph passages on all the practices, and then there's like 6-page stories on the actual SOL. So now you get your heads up that they are much longer on the actual test. These are longer and a little bit more complicated, but none of them are 6 pages. Like at most, you're still just getting a paragraph. Okay. Best concluding sentence. We have B. The exhibit was successful and attracted strong public interest, because it wraps up everything that once you cut out the boring sentence, it wraps up what the rest of it was saying. Students should read daily. Reading improves vocabulary. Reading improves comprehension. Reading is something students do. Which one is weakest? D. Reading is something students do. Because, again, we've got that whole, like, stating a fact thing. You're not really proving any points. You're just saying something obvious. What would best strengthen the paragraph? C. Researchers found daily reading increases vocabulary by thousands of words per year, because it is giving a really nice, specific detail. To tie it back to the essay, this is the kind of thing, don't make up research. If you put that in your essay, they're going to be like, how do you know? But my point being how specific it is. If you were doing yours and you said reading improves vocabulary, it improves comprehension, it improves vocabulary, I need you to be more specific. What do you mean by it improves vocabulary? Like, yeah, can I learn 2 more words that I didn't know? You want to say, like, it increases vocabulary by exposing them to hundreds of words that they don't normally see or hear. So just make sure you're being really specific and fully explaining your thoughts when you write your essay. Transition. A. Similarly. Yep. Because we have, so we're starting sentence 3. We have reading improves vocabulary and reading improves comprehension. These are both good things that reading does. So you want to go with similarly. However, instead, and otherwise are all opposite words. They're all saying that those 2 sentences disagree with each other.
I guess I didn't understand what they were asking me, but that's okay. So far I've only missed 1.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. All right, passage 9. Science fair was exciting. Students presented creative projects. Judges asked questions. It was exciting. Which one best improves the paragraph?
Delete sentence 4. B.
Delete sentence 4. Same thing as the it was boring. What'd you say?
Because it says which revision improves the paragraph. Oh.
Yeah, what can you do?
I was thinking to change the sentences around. Okay, so I missed that one. So which was the answer? I'm sorry.
B. Delete sentence 4.
Oh, I missed 2. Oh,
Which word best replaces creative here?
creative.
I put
Yeah.
innovative.
I put
C.
innovative.
C.
Look at you guys. This was up for debate in the other class. A lot of people put interesting in the other class. And it would make sense if it was sort of on its own. Students presented interesting projects.
But I think they want a fancy word.
They
That's what my
do,
brain was thinking.
but it's not as much about the fanciness as it is about the sort of the meaning behind it. Because saying that it's an interesting project is an opinion. Like, I thought it was boring as crap. So saying it's an interesting project isn't really telling me that it's exciting and that, it was a cool thing to go to. But it's a science fair. So if you're at a science fair, for it to be exciting, it's got to be like crazy science you haven't seen before. It's not going to be the kids with the baking soda volcanoes. It's going to be ones who've it's going to be the ones who have like invented some new machine or figured out how to do some cool problem. And that is innovative. Which sentence best combines 2 and 3? B. Students presented creative projects and judges asked questions. Again, this is a grammar question. The ones that are asking you to combine things are grammar questions in disguise. So just look at the grammar, see which one is right. This one is a run-on. Students presented projects, judges, questions. That just doesn't even make sense. Students presented creative projects, judges asking also does not make sense.
Like, what are you on?
Somebody was
So-
doing that.
So the difference in this one is that this one is a run-on and this one correctly uses one of the fanboys. Yep. Passage. Learning a musical instrument takes practice. Musicians must develop coordination. They must also learn to read music. Practice is important.
1A.
Best thesis is 1. Learning a musical instrument takes practice.
But see, if you have practice is important, it doesn't say what type of practice is important.
Correct. Which revision improves sentence 4 of practice is important?
I put C.
Consistent practice is essential for mastering an instrument for the exact reason Debbie just said. Practice is important doesn't tell you that you're talking about music because that whole paragraph is about music. So now to fix it, they added music. And last, what is the best concluding sentence?
B. Yeah.
B, for these reasons, which for these reasons is another therefore. Therefore, dedication and practice are key to musical success.
Minus 1.